now that we have the bottle prepped, we're going to work on what's called the mold box, which supports the silicone around the bottle as we make our mold. So for this project, what I'm going to use is just a 3-inch diameter mailing tube. You can get this at any office supply store. And what I did was I cut it down to 10.5 inches. Now, you're probably wondering, well, how did I get 10.5 inches? If you measure your bottle, like I did, you're going to find out, like this beer bottle is 9 inches tall. Now, I want to pour the silicone a 1/2 inch higher than my bottle. So that makes it 9.5 inches. But also, you never want to make your mold box equal to the height that you're going to pour your silicone. You always want to give yourself a little extra room. So I added an inch. And so 9.5 plus 1 is 10.5 inches. Now, after I cut this mailing tube, what I did was I took a magic marker and I actually marked the inside of the tube where my 9.5 height is. Remember, that is a 9-inch bottle plus a 1/2 inch of silicone. And what that is basically a mark that lets me know that I've reached my proper height and I can stop pouring my silicone. Once you've done that, the next consideration is that this mailing tube is made out of paper. Now, paper is porous. Any porous material is going to absorb the silicone and really cause some problems. And what we have to do is we have to seal the inside of this tube. So I've already done that, but what I use Sealed It, and I get a nice big natural bristle brush, and I just soften the top, and I take the Sealed It, and I just apply it very, very liberally on the inside of this tube. And I cover every square inch on the inside with a liberal amount of Sealed It. Now, you don't want to leave this thick paste on the inside. It's not really good to have a thick paste and silicone coming in contact with that. It's not going to give you the best mold. So I'm going to take a side towel, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put it in one end, and I'm just going to push it right through, and that's going to take off the excess Sealed It. Now, don't worry. The Sealed It is still doing its job even though it's been wiped off. It's worked its way into the porosity of the paper, and it has sealed all of the little holes that might absorb silicone. So my tube now is ready, and we're just going to call this a mold box, okay? And what we're going to do now is we're going to put this tube over the bottle. Now, I like to use the manufacturer's end. It's cut very, very nicely. I cut this side with a hacksaw, and it's a little rougher. So always take the machined, nice manufacturer's end of the tube and put it down over your bottle. Now, I don't want to touch the sides of my bottle because remember, I've wiped off the bottle so we get a nice shiny surface. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take this tube and I'm just going to center it so that I have an equal amount of space around this entire bottle. Now, I have to secure my mold box. Number one, so it doesn't move when I'm pouring. Number two, so it doesn't leak. I've just rolled out a thin string of safety clay. And because my mold box moved a little bit, I'm going to readjust. Now, what I'm going to do is, I call it the 3 o'clock, 9 o'clock. I'm going to put one hand at 9 o'clock and one hand at 3 o'clock, and I'm going to just push very lightly. What I'm trying to do is use the clay to trap this tube in place. And I'm just going to keep on going around until my string is in full contact with the bottom of the tube. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to press in a 45-degree angle, and I'm going to make a clay gasket along the bottom of my tube. Now, the thin string ensures that you really get into that corner and you've got it tight. The next step is to take a thicker strand of safety clay, and we're simply going to do the same thing. We're going to bring it around, and we're going to press it down, get some full contact here, and then I'm going to do the same thing in order to create a very strong, watertight gasket. When you're done, your clay gasket should look like this. And I guarantee you that if you do this properly, your mold box isn't going to move and it's not going to leak. And let me tell you, that's a great sense of peace of mind when you're making a mold. So now we're actually getting ready to pour our silicone because our mold box and our bottle is all prepped and ready to go.